There's something different in the air at St. James Park. And no, it's not just the excitement of preseason training or the natural optimism that comes with a fresh start. It's a familiar atmosphere that longtime fans will recognize, that tense silence that often comes just before big movements behind the scenes. But this time, it's not about a major signing arriving. On the contrary, the rumor that's starting to stir is coming from within the squad, and it involves one of the most loved and valuable players in the current team. And this could completely change the direction of Newcastle United's transfer window. If you're already part of this channel, you know the signs when things start heating up behind closed doors. It means something big is on the horizon. And if you're not subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to join our community. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and come with us to uncover what's really happening at the heart of the club. Your support helps this project grow and keeps us motivated to bring you quality content straight from reliable sources. The situation revolves around none other than Alexander Isak. That's right, the Swedish striker who has established himself as a key figure under Eddie Howe, and who is now one of the club's most valuable assets. But according to exclusive information from Craig Hope at the Daily Mail, Isak isn't entirely happy with what's going on behind the scenes. It's a delicate matter, centered around a broken promise, and this frustration could open the door to an unexpected twist in the transfer market. Craig Hope reports that Isak has been left disappointed by the board following a promised contract renewal that never materialized. That offer was supposedly made during the tenure of Amanda Staveley and Mehrdad Guddusi, who both stepped down from their roles at the club last year. After their exit, new sporting director Paul Mitchell reportedly felt there was no need to move forward with a renewal, arguing that Isak was already well paid and still had 4 years remaining on his contract. That created a sense of unease which, to this day, remains unresolved. And this is where things start to take a more serious turn. 1 year has passed, and according to Hope, there's been absolutely no progress on any new deal. Isak still has 3 years left on his current contract. Yes, but for a player who's been a key figure across 2 consecutive seasons, that could easily be seen as neglect. Internally, the club maintains that they don't want to sell and that they plan to offer improved terms. But the big question now is Isak still willing to listen? That uncertainty is at the heart of today's video, because while Newcastle continue to insist they want to keep Isak and reward him for another excellent season, Liverpool have started to make moves of their own. According to the same Daily Mail report, the Merseyside club are preparing a formal bid to try and take Isak away from St. James Park, and more than that, there's a feeling behind the scenes that Liverpool are only chasing the Swede because Newcastle are getting increasingly serious about Hugo Ek. This sets up what looks like a double duel between the 2 Premier League clubs. If you've been following this closely, you'll know this isn't just typical transfer window gossip. Craig Hope's reporting is usually spot on, and in this particular case, his claims align with what's been quietly happening at the club. Several fans have noticed Newcastle's discreet behavior in recent weeks, and here's another quick reminder. If you want to keep getting the full picture, straight from reliable sources, make sure you subscribe. We bring you analysis, context, and above all, our passion for Newcastle United. The showdown between Newcastle and Liverpool for both Ekitike and Isak is far from straightforward. While the Magpies are targeting the French striker from Eintracht Frankfurt to strengthen the attack, Liverpool fear missing out on both players. It's almost like a chess match, where every move has to be calculated with surgical precision, and the presence of Paul Mitchell, still working to establish his role as the club's sporting strategist, adds an extra layer of complexity. After all, it was his decision to ignore the previous promise to Isak that triggered this entire situation. It's worth remembering that Isak arrived at Newcastle in 2022 from Real Sociedad with high expectations, and since then, he has delivered with decisive performances, important goals, and a level of play that quickly made him a fan favorite. His market value has soared, and today he's rated at over £150 million, a figure Newcastle consider the baseline in any negotiations. But as high as that price tag may seem, Liverpool's growing interest proves there are clubs willing to pay it, and that it's not an unthinkable move. However, the key issue now is what Isak himself wants. Will he push for a contract renewal? Will he accept a new deal with improved terms, or is he seriously considering Liverpool's offer right now? There's no clear answer. What we do know is that while these questions remain unanswered, the mood behind the scenes at Newcastle is growing tense. Hope reports that the club's executives are already braced for a formal bid from the Reds. That alone suggests a real possibility of change. That said, Newcastle seem determined not to back down. The board see Isak as a central figure in the club's long-term project, and despite the delay in action, they reportedly have solid plans to present a new deal to the Swedish forward, which could help ease tensions and reaffirm his status as a top priority. But timing will be key. If the club wait too long, they could risk opening the door for other European giants to swoop in. And if you want to stay ahead of the curve on how this all unfolds, make sure you stick with us for future videos. Our coverage is built on trusted sources like Craig Hope and other top-tier British journalists. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, Turn on notifications and stay with us. We'll keep you updated on all the developments happening behind the curtain. Bringing it back to the core issue, Isak's situation is a wake-up call for Newcastle. When a key player feels undervalued or ignored, the risks go beyond a possible sale. It can affect squad morale, team unity, and even the club's image in the wider market. As Newcastle aim to establish themselves as a Premier League powerhouse and a regular Champions League contender, keeping top talent happy and committed is not just important, it's essential. And one question fans are asking now is, why did the club wait this long to act? The answer might lie in the power transition that took place last year, with key figures stepping down and new faces like Paul Mitchell stepping in. These sorts of changes often come with growing pains, but in this specific case, it directly impacted one of the squad's biggest assets that calls for a swift, strategic and sensitive response, one that fully recognizes Isak's value on and off the pitch. Another angle to watch closely is Liverpool's behavior. The Merseyside club have been active in the market and following Jurgen Klopp's departure, are entering a new era under fresh leadership. Signing a player like Isak would be a huge statement, a clear message to the rest of the league that the Reds still mean business. And the growing rumors that they're willing to walk away from other targets to focus solely on the Swede shows just how serious they are. For all these reasons, Newcastle fans need to stay alert and confident. The board have already made it clear they won't let Isak go easily. The club are prepared to retain him, offer him a contract that matches his importance, and if necessary, stand firm against external pressure. But it's vital that this stance is matched by real, timely action, especially with such powerful competition in the background and a situation where silence could end up being costly. And if you've made it this far in the video, you already know this channel is the right place to stay informed. So before you go, do us a favor, subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments, share this with fellow fans, and help us grow this amazing community. We're here to bring you serious, relevant, and respectful content. No overhype, no fluff, and stay tuned because the days ahead promise major updates not just on Isak but also on Isak and the other moves Newcastle are planning this summer. The market is heating up, and what might seem like a simple club battle could end up reshaping the entire Premier League landscape. See you in the next video.